Branding 101. What is branding? Here's a few examples. Milk. For many years, the milk industry, and I'm taking this straight out of Steve Jobs' mouth, in the milk industry, sales were tanking. It was just going down year by year. They were trying to convince people that milk was good for you, which is a lie. And sales were just tanking and tanking. Then one year, they changed it up and they created a slogan called "Got Milk." And it focused on the absence of milk, not even the product itself, the absence of milk. And they used influencer marketing by targeting all these big celebrities and influencers, like musicians like Taylor Swift and athletes. And they got them to hold up milk and have a little milk mustache and say "Got Milk." And of course, sales increase. You can look this up. Steve Jobs was a master at branding, and he understood this really well. Essentially, what they did was they elevated themselves in the marketplace by marketing in a unique way. Here's another example. Steve admired Nike. And Nike is a commodity. They sell shoes. Technically, they're not necessarily a commodity. When I really fact check this, Nike is actually a really good product too when it started out. If you read the book Shoe Dog, which documents Phil Knight, the founder of Nike's journey, they were really good shoes. Having said that, over time they were a commodity. So I agree with Steve in that sense. In the long run, they started becoming a commodity. Nike sells shoes like every other company. Puma, Reebok, Adidas. But why has Nike become so well known? Well, it was partially luck, but they stumbled across branding. They elevated themselves from all the other brands out there by becoming something more than just the commodity of shoes that they were, and which effectively in the long term increased their sales, and they became this reputational shoe company that was associated with the top athletes. How did they do this? I've already hinted, I've given you a hint as to how. They essentially elevated themselves by becoming a brand that championed not shoes, but becoming the best athlete possible. They had all these influencers, specifically athletes, the best athletes ever, come in and champion their product. And their company became more than just a shoe company. Their company's message was, we are going to push and become the best at what we do as an athlete. And that message, that reputation that came along with it, really affected them. Now, Steve was very smart, and he took this marketing and he used it for Apple as well. There's that famous commercial, a couple famous commercials, and Steve chose to position Apple. It was just ingenious. It worked so well, and now Apple is the highest market cap company of all time. He chose to position Apple as not just another computer company or phone company, but a company for the rebels, the misfits, the square pegs in the round holes. And he positioned commercials, TV commercials specifically, and ads and newspaper ads and all that other stuff, so that it embodied this. And by doing so, they became more than a computer company. In fact, people identified with Apple, and they almost labeled themselves and polarized themselves so that the competitor, Microsoft, was almost the enemy in a way, because they were the opposite end of the extreme. Apple deliberately positioned Microsoft as these PC wearing guys who were very square, the square pegs and the square holes, and very boring. And it worked very well. A lot of these creatives became Apple adorant fans. And then there were people like me who were kind of like late adopters who didn't care either way, and by that time everyone loved the product and was buying it so much that I ended up buying this phone, which I'm now recording this video on, which is an Apple product. So you can kind of see how this is going. There's so many other examples of effective brands that do it right, and 10,000 more examples of brands that don't know how to brand properly. So here's a few other examples. There is Legos. Legos commodity product. They sell bricks, toy bricks, and I actually bought a Chinese knockoff. Never liked it. How did they, when they're just selling commodities, bricks, turn that into something that was so huge? It all comes back to really the reputation you build and the customer loyalty you build. How do you get that customer loyalty and reputation so that people will just come to you and not consider any other option, and not think of you as a commodity and just base which company to buy off on price or features? They came to Lego because Lego, I think, they built a story around what they do. It wasn't just Legos. They created a whole universes based off already existing and proven brands. It's ingenious. They leveraged Harry Potter. They leveraged all these other things, Star Wars, and they didn't just give you these bricks and told you to like create your own things. They made their own stories around them. They built whole castles from the Harry Potter realm, and they gave you instructions on how to build that. So that the storytelling and truly why children play with these bricks was crystallized. So incredible story. And then now Lego's branching off into movies. There's the Lego movie and the Batman Lego movie. Both were hugely successful and really well done. They really know how to appease children and adults with their humor, and they tell this incredible story with their Legos, further selling the product. Incredibly well done. Huge applause to Legos. And there's so many other brands that do it well and so many that don't. So like some brands, they try but they fail. And there's a lot I can say. There's Coca-Cola, another example. Double blind taste tests have proven that your store brand Coca-Cola you can get from Giant tastes just as good, if not better. Why do people flock to Coca-Cola and Pepsi? They really know how to brand themselves well, to the point where we have placebo convinced ourselves that we're literally paying up the nose like 10 times more per ounce for the same quality taste of soda than a store brand cola, because we have convinced ourselves that it's better for us. That's the power of customer loyalty. Obviously, you can probably think of companies that fail at this. Internet companies right now. Comcast, I really hate Comcast. They've done a horrible job. They've overbilled me. They've screwed up and then charged me to fix it when it was their fault in the first place. I just switched between Comcast and Verizon, as everyone else does, for many years, just based purely on price. Now they've tried to rebrand themselves with Xfinity, but I don't think they really understand branding well, and it's just too big and convoluted of a business. So this video is getting long, and there's countless other examples of incredible brands that really know what's going on, and you can tell that they're making money hand over fist by doing it the right way. Gary Vaynerchuk, another great example. He knows that it's about out-caring, putting out stuff for free, and over-delivering so that it's beyond the one transaction. That's the one thing that people don't get. Sure, you want to measure your return on investment, but can you do that conservatively and get a positive ROI and over-deliver so that beyond that transaction, they have such a good experience that they tell the story of what you did to other people, and you build that loyalty and goodwill, and you end up doing some good stuff. And Gary is just killing it right now. If you search his brand name on Google Trends, it's just trending upward like crazy. Almost no one can compete in his space, save for maybe Tony Robbins. And the crazy part is, if you like search any of the key terms that he should want to rank for, given his social media digital agency, he doesn't rank for any of them. If you were to search social media marketing or social media digital agency, no one goes there, because when you become a good brand, people aren't searching for car or computer or anything like that. They're not searching credit card on Google for you. They already know you. It's already in their mind, and they just go straight to you. They don't have to consult Google and shop based off price alone. When you think credit card, you think immediately Amex and this and that. When you think shoe, you think Nike immediately. You don't go to the store and shop all these random shoe brands like Brooks and you buy off of that. You get the point. I mean, obviously there are exceptions, and these are how these other niches and competitors, these startups, are trying to compete with existing brands that have the market space. Maybe you can beat them from a feature standpoint. But I'm just trying to emphasize that there is some level of importance to branding. And as a quick final disclaimer, don't do this if you're a bootstrapped startup. Don't fall for those brand consultants on LinkedIn who will charge you $10,000 or $1,000 to consult you on branding, and that's their only title to their name, and they'll convince you to spend $1,000 or $500 on Facebook or LinkedIn or social media ads to brand yourself, which is going to do nothing. It's just like a drop in the bucket, and this is going to do nothing for your brand. I believe that effective branding only comes from when the cash flow is already coming in and you're a well-established business, and then you start thinking like Steve Jobs and these others, and you start branding yourself. Or you do it in a cost-effective way, like I'm doing now. I have nothing but time, and I put out these videos and all this other content for free. So there's no cost or expenditure to me monetarily, and I have plenty of time to do it since I'm fairly young, and that builds up goodwill without me robbing a bank. So don't fall for the fact that branding is everything, and then you do it in a very cost ineffective way, especially as a bootstrap startup. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped. Oh, and I'm going to release a video article on my blog, which I'll link below, and that goes into a lot more detail on all these examples of brands that do it well. See's Candy, another great example.